Greetings, it's the Timeshare Traveler. Today is episode 301, The Beauty of a Short Stay. I'm actually, in fact, just about to leave for a short stay right today. So I was like, oh, wow. And it is I'm kind of excited. It's a blissful moment. And I want to talk about the benefits of a short stay. And then whether you do weekdays or weekends, the pluses or minuses on that. And the many ways I'll talk about how I've booked, I'll booked multiple different ways here in the short stay that I've got going, and key ways to make it refreshing. I think this is a really exciting thing that's often overlooked with people at timeshares. They're always thinking about the big thing, but there's actually a lot of little things you can do, and those are sometimes the best. So let's talk about the benefits of a short stay. I have kids and soon to have grandkids, so it's kind of like a timeout for adults. When life makes you feel cranky and you don't want to feel that way anymore, that's when you need a short stay. I'm actually taking just a break from life. You feel stuck in some way in life. I actually want to make some changes, so I'm actually going to sort of take a break to think about how I can do those things. And it's obviously a change of scenery, so I can it gives me just another option to think of things differently. This was relatively spontaneous. I was actually experimenting with things I wanted to do next year, and I was like, oh, there's a short stay available on Interval International. And so I did it, and I was like, oh, wow, this is exciting. And again, I'm keeping it pretty simple. It's just drive. I'm not doing a short flight. Not going to be a lot of packing. I'll probably be packing way less than an hour. I'm not sure how I'm going to break routines, but I'm going to a different part of California. So I'm up in Northern California. I'm going to go to Southern California. And I'm not really planning. I'm just going to see what I do and think about it kind of on my trip and plan to do what I'm going to do. So I think those are the benefits. And if you need one of those moments, plan a short stay. Okay, there's a question is whether you should do a short stay a weekday or weekends. And I actually am doing a weekday schedule. It's a Wednesday through, technically I come back Saturday, so maybe consider a week a little bit of both. But actually the availability was amazing. I actually could have booked one of the places I'm staying today. Just for tomorrow. So there's a lot of options. I'm expecting everything to be less crowded because it's a weekday, and the points actually were much lower because I wasn't having to use a weekend when, typical short stays. That's why the weekdays usually are the leftovers when people book all the weekends, and so you end up with the weekdays available. However, there is a case for the weekend getaway, and that's if you have a work schedule that doesn't get interrupted, and if you have kids, they can come, or it's easier to find someone, a friend, a parent, that's what grandparents are for, to watch the kids. And also, I think if you go want to see a show, there's just more options on the weekend, so depending on the activities you're thinking of, maybe weekdays, you could say the hikes are a little bit better because the trails would be less crowded, so trade-offs in that. But I think that's kind of my thinking of how I decide on a weekday versus a weekend. In case you think that this is hard, there's actually more ways to book short stays in some ways than there are traditional long week or week plus vacations. Last call with RCI, if you look very carefully at the last call, they'll often have like 3 nights or 4 nights available. Usually, actually one of them is often 5 nights, which is Sunday through checkout on Friday. It's like that's the part where the person has booked the weekend. Not that you necessarily need to do that, but you can find short stays for 3 days often on the last call. And then International actually has a whole section for short stay getaways, and they're all typically within 45 to 60 days. Actually, some of them can be booked out further. And you do have to be a gold status in your Interval International in order to do that. I upgraded one of my accounts so I can do that. But it doesn't necessarily mean you need to use points. You can just use cash. And I just did a video on that on how to book with another location, but I showed demos of that. So look at my prior video on booking at a timeshare you don't own. I did several short stay examples there. Now, and also then there's the marketing packages. They're almost all 4 days, 3 nights, and they're typically under $200. So, not necessarily sure if a getaway includes a timeshare presentation. Maybe that detracts from it a little bit. But if you don't have the money or the points or whatever, you can always do the marketing stay, and that's a perfect getaway in my mind. And there's the old regular booking options. Often people cancel trips near the kind of at the last minute or within 2 months. Know what the cancellation periods are for your timeshare, because right after that period has occurred, the people would have canceled to get all their points back. And just look, if it's 2 months, look right at 2 months to see what's available. You might find people canceling and check back every day, and then. Check the specials option. That's where they have the discounted stays, and they obviously have them discounted because there's availability, excess availability, so they put it in the special section so you can get it for less points, which is nothing wrong with saving money. And again, know the minimum bookings. Like for Marriott, it's 1 night actually. Hilton Club, it's 2 night. Hilton Grand Vacations, it's 3 nights. World Market's 1 night. Mostly, I say mostly because on the weekend, if Friday and Saturday are available, you have to book 2 nights. But if it's not, if Friday's only, you can get away actually with only 1 night. So that's all the ways to book a short stay. I'm sure there's some more I forgot, but plenty. No excuses for booking. No excuses. Keys to making it refreshing. Again, this is not a planned vacation. I kind of did it because I was experimenting, and I said, "Oh, I'm going to do this." It sounded like a lot of fun. So it wasn't quite last minute, but it close to last minute relative to most timeshare planning efforts. And I'm doing something unusual. I was actually experimenting with using my WorldMark points to book a Hyatt, and I'm gonna go stay there because I figured out how to do it. So I was like, oh wow, let's go do it. And again, it was something I was trying to figure out and normally wouldn't do it. I didn't book the presidential level, but I booked the place I don't even own, so that's kind of fun. I'm kind of curious how the check-in is going to go. They don't know who I am really. That's not unusual. That's unusual for me. Most people know who I am because I have status on all the timeshares, but I won't in this case. And I'm breaking with routine. It's kind of a surprise getaway for myself. I wasn't expecting I'd be able to figure this out. I was going to figure out how to do it for next year, and I figured it out right away. And I actually have some things from work and life that I kind of stuck on. And I do actually feel guilty. I have work that I need to get done, but I'm going to do this anyway. I'm going to do some work while I'm there, but I'm going to make sure I set aside time for what I'm doing. And this really does feel like a reward for me, and that's a mindset somewhat, but this is a really good opportunity for me to reward myself. You'll see the places I stay. I could all do the videos, but this is a great reward. It's kind of an upscale trip for me from the normal stay in the same place. Anyway, hope this video was great. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my channel. Don't forget to like, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Hi, this is Cliff, and I'm the Timeshare Traveler. Welcome to my channel. The purpose of my channel is to educate those who love traveling in timeshares. I've been an owner for 15 plus years at timeshare ownership. I have elite ownership with Marriott, Hilton, and WorldMark. I have published over 100 timeshare video reviews, and I've published over 95 timeshare tips. I can be found on Facebook at Timeshare Trav, at Twitter, Timeshare Trav, and on the web at www.timesharetraveler.com.